Hi guys, I have my drawing gridded out, just like I have my page gridded out. And so luckily somebody already gridded this for me, but if you needed to, you just go in and put the grid on. Just make sure that they work together. And there we go. So now we're ready to start the drawing. There are a couple different ways to approach the drawing, and I think all are really valid. They're all really important to use as you approach the drawing. And one thing to make sure is we still always want to approach the drawing through the element of big to small, right? Large to small, big shapes to smaller shapes to smaller shapes, and always think of things in terms of shape and not in terms of detail for detail for detail. So I have a few different ways to help us look at that. The first way is to look at it in terms of just light and dark, going in and figuring out where are our darks and where are our lights. And to help you see that, I have this piece right here. This is a posterized image of this just through Photoshop. But when I squint at this, this is kind of what I see. I see where the darks are and where the lights are. And I can separate those lights and those darks by just squinting a little bit. So if you squint at this picture right here, you'll start to see a little bit more of what we see here, where the darks are and where the lights are, and all the other details, all the little mid-tones, all the little areas where it's kind of, you're not sure if it's light or dark, kind of wash away, and we just see light and dark. So that's what I want to do with this piece, and any piece I do. And also, we want to see things in terms of shape. So one way that helps us to see that is to think about things in terms of envelopes, or in terms of notional space. And what helps us with the grid drawing is that now that we've broken up into little grids, little areas, I can go in and I can look at my box here and make sure that I have a shape that coincides, and I'm able to figure out the whole drawing and go kind of box by box. The method that doesn't work, or that doesn't allow you to kind of zoom out and look at the forest and then zoom back in and look at the leaves and then zoom back out and zoom back in, the one way that doesn't do that is if we try to draw detail for detail for detail. If we go from every single box to every single box and we try to draw what's inside of it without thinking about shape, without thinking about the lights and the darks, and we just try to draw kind of object for object. An example would be like here, where I have this box right here, and I go in there and I think I have to draw an eye. So you go in there and you just draw what you perceive as an eye, as like what you think an eye looks like, and we ignore what's really happening in the picture, what's going on, what direction things are going, what the shape is doing. So it all comes back down to those basic things. But having a grid helps us to see things, how they line up, what they look like, all that. So the way we're going to get started is I have my grid, I have my drawing, and in order to push us further into that realm of seeing things only as shape, I want to turn it upside down. So now I'm going to turn it upside down. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use a viewfinder. So that will help me as well. So I got my viewfinder here. This is a simple 1-inch square that's been cut out with an X-Acto knife, just like with this right here. And I can place that on my grid to help me go back in and do details and check my work. So I can place this right over the square, and then as I'm drawing, I can look and say, okay, is this in the right place? Is this in the right place? How big is this? Is this value correct? Is this value correct? All of that, I can go back and look at what I've got in this. This allows us to eliminate all other distractions and look just at the one box. But I'm going to hold off for this right now and not work on it, because I do want to see things as the whole forest first. I want to see things as just large shapes. So I'm just going to go back and forth between the drawing and my box, my grid, and go back and forth. So again, big shapes. I want to worry about big shapes. So going across here, I'm going to line them up so I can see exactly what I'm doing, not make any mistakes where I like go to the wrong box or wrong area. And I can see that this starts out, if I go down 3 boxes here, just on the grid, I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to put in these basic shapes, right? This goes like this, and then it kind of comes over. But for right now, I'm just going to place in a shape that kind of goes up and down like this right here. If I simplify that line, I simplify this comes down to this edge right here. I simplify this comes in like this and comes in like this. So I simplify this and this right here. Again, using the side of my pencil. This kind of comes across like this, goes down to the edge like this, and then comes over like that. Always try to use straight lines when you're drawing. So this kind of comes over like this, and then comes over like that, and then comes across like this. And this shape of this, the hair coming down like this, I could just kind of box this all into just one big shape here. So I'm going to come across like this and just draw that in. Right, just go like this. This is going to come down like this. This comes like that. So we'll go across like this, like there. It comes in like this. And I'm looking at both the negative shape and the positive. So the figure as well as this shape. This shape is just as important to me as this shape. I want to get those correct and in the right place. This comes across like this. This comes about halfway across there, so I know where to cross over. Come down like this, like this. This comes up to this point right here. So this comes across like here, right there. Comes down to this point right here. And it reaches this point right here. So as it comes across like this, it comes down like that. And again, I try and use straight lines, so break that up into 1, 2. Like that. And then coming across like this. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're still going in the right place. I always just double check, make sure I didn't gone over one too many boxes. Right, and then we come down to here, and I could just kind of think of this as just a basic shape like this. Coming in like this, going in like that, coming in like this. I can always refine a shape, but I just want to get the basics. This kind of comes across like this. And I'm drawing right on this, just lightly, so I can see what's going on there. And this comes across like that. And this comes down like this, right from the corner, comes in like this. And then this breaks off like that. So we're just going to come in like that. We have this shape that comes down like this. And this is about halfway, not quite, but about halfway, where it starts to come down like that, and down like that, and like that. So I have now the outline of the image, the figure that I'm drawing, the thing that I'm drawing. And now I kind of want to approach it from this perspective, right? Where I'm looking for basic shapes of light and dark. I'm separating those values. I do not want to draw the various physical features of her face, eyes, nose, mouth, in terms of, say, a nose or an eye or a mouth, and draw them and outline them perfectly, because if I do that, I will, strangely enough, kind of ruin the drawing. For example, if I go in here and think I have to draw a nose, and I draw a really dark line along here, because I'm drawing, that edge of the nose as it goes up like this, that edge of the line, that line doesn't exist, right? I don't need to draw anything there. So when I think about drawing a nose, I want to pay attention to this shape right here. This coming down here, coming up like this going down like this, over like this, and around like this, because all of this is in the shadow, right? It even kind of creeps up here a little bit. That shape right here is more important to me than getting this shape. Right? Now I want to put that shape in eventually. I'll pull some things out a little bit and make it a little bit lighter. And the nostrils are important to me, but the actual shape of the nose, right? The nose as we know it as nostrils and kind of a front here, I don't want to draw. I want to think about it, because this right here, it's so subtle, so subtle. We barely even see this side of the nostril. So again, thinking about lights and darks versus drawing features, right? So let's just go in and think about, how do we split this up? Well, I can see here I've got kind of lights and darks going across like this. I have this whole area is a little bit lighter, and this area is lighter, and we have this shape that's in the shadows right here. Just like with our sphere that we drew, I'm going to go in and I want to kind of create those shapes and then go back in and lightly touch them up, just put in some shading, and then I'll use my tissue to blend it out. So let's just go ahead and start doing that. So I'm going to just do this right on my paper. I'm going to draw right on it. And I just kind of want to find where it goes from light to dark. And it's kind of happening right around here. It's a subtle change, right? It goes from light to dark, but it's a subtle change from this to this. So looking at my drawing here, I'm just going to put in a very light, using the side of my pencil. I'm going to come in and kind of put in that light change from light to dark right in here, because this is all in shadow. Same with right here, we have this nice core shadow that comes across the chin. It comes up like this, right? This right here, this area, I could kind of split it off right there because this is all in shadow right in here. So this right here is in the light. So I'm going to go into my picture and I'll put that in. Right? It's going to come in across like this, go up like this, and then over like this. And it should line up right with this, right? Just like what I did right here. It kind of comes across like that. And here's this shape right here. This is in shadow, right? All of this right here. So I'll put that shape in. I'll come across like this, go across like this, and put that shape in. And then this shape right here is really important, right? This is going to indicate the lips. So this shape right here, I'm going to come in, find that shape. Again, very lightly. I'm not refining anything yet. It's still really loose, but I do want to find that shape. Okay, it comes across about halfway, not quite, but pretty close. It comes across like this, just like this, and over. Right, that shape. So this is a shape, and this is in shadow. I'm going to come across here, and this is all in the light, except for when we come up here in this ear, and then obviously this is going to be in the shadows, these are going to be in the shadows. So as I come back up here, I want to focus on this shape right there, right? I want to get that shape identical. Coming across here, like that. Come back up, and it comes to a little past halfway, which is about right here. And it comes across like this, and like that. That shape is important. We want to make sure that we've drawn that shape identical. We can go back and refine it. At least we have something. And again, we're going to come right up here and go right into this area. So this is going to come up like this, go back like this, back like this, and all the way up to right here. And then back down, right? Coming back down like this, so I'm going to come back down like this. And then reach over like this. This is in the shadows. Again, it's her hair, it's darker. Not necessarily in the shadows, but it's a darker value. So I'll place that in there and I'll see it as a darker value. I come across like this. Right, this is where we're happening here. This is what's happening here. Come across like this, like this, like this. And I'm going to kind of indicate some areas after I've done the hair of where the lights are in the hair and where the darks are. Like there's a really specific shape right here of what's dark and a specific shape of right here where it's dark. But I'm going to outline the hair since there is a significant value change coming across from here, right there, and right there. Going across like this. Coming across like that. We have this coming in like this. And notice just how I use my pencil. I can shade like this, but if I want to make a really sharp mark, I just lift it up on its edge like this and just drag and then make it come across like this, and I can make a really, really fine line in that. Okay. All right. We do have this element of where it's light here. So I want to put that in. This gets really specific in here. I want to simplify it. So this is my shape right here. This is where it's dark as it comes across. So this comes across like this, just a little past halfway. Comes up, down like this, and then comes over like that. And then all of this, right, this whole area is light, especially coming into this area right here. So I know that this right here, however, is dark, this little shape right there where the corner of the eye sits. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to come down here. It's going to sit like this. And then I see this shape that sits like this right here. It comes across like that and like that. And this, and the eye comes across like this. And then it all just kind of goes into the darkness, right? From this point here over, it all is dark. This is all dark. If you squint, right, it's all dark. It's just this little area that we want to worry about. And then I can close this off. This comes down basically to the corner of the mouth, right there. And I can close this off. So this, as it comes around, right, as it is in the shadow, right here we have this shape. So I'll place that shape in. Comes over like this, comes across like that, and over like that. Okay, now I have to do the other eye, and we have to do the ears. This ear right here, it's all in the shadow. I'll come back in and refine some of these lights and darks. There is a shape there that's darker and a shape there that's darker, but it's all in the shadows. And quite frankly, if you notice, the value between here and here is really subtle. So I could kind of just end this right here and just put in my value all along here because it's all about the same value here. But I wanted to at least designate where the head is, where the shadows start and end. But eventually this will all get really close in value. All right, so this is all right here. We have this here. This is here, right here. We'll worry about the necklace later on. And we have this. Let's do the next eye. So again, simplification. I'm looking at this eye right here. I see this big shape. Within that shape, I see several specific shapes of where shadows are. I see this right here. I see this shape, and I see this shape right here. This shape going into that shape. So really just this shape right here, and then obviously that little highlight that's on the eyelid, the bottom eyelid, I don't want to worry about. I want to keep it light. I can come back in with an eraser and pull that out if I need to, but I want to try and be somewhat specific on here, somewhere accurate. So this right here comes across like this. If I come over, it's past halfway over here, and I'm going to put in this little shape. And it comes down and then over. So it comes down, make sure that it's about the same here, and over like this. And this shape comes across like this, across like this. Always checking on your square to make sure that you're in the same spot. You're drawing in the same spot in the right square. There's my shape there. And then this all right here I could put in, and then initially, right, I can just kind of put that whole thing in. It's going to come around like this. This is going to come around like this. And then I can come back in and designate, okay, this is where my eye sits. It comes across like this, comes down like this. And then I could designate this little shape, right? There's that little area right here where it does get lighter, where the eyelid sits, right there. But this shape right here, that shape is really important to me. So I'm going to make sure that I get that correct. So all of that is still in shadow. All of this is going to be in shadow. Okay, so we are now at a point where we can come in here and put in values. I do want to designate this headband because it's really bright, it's really light. I don't want to have to go back in and really pull those lights out too much. So I am going to put that in. Again, coming in and just making sure that I am in the right square, and I am drawing the shape correctly. This shape comes in like this and comes down like this, almost to the corner. So this is like that, this is like that. This comes in like this. So there's one side of the headband coming over like that, and the other side of the headband is coming over like that. This shape. We have this shape, and it's going to get smaller, slightly smaller, and then comes back out again across here, hits this edge right here and comes back in like that, up back through here. Again, just drawing a straight line helps me see things, and then I can round it out later on, but I do want to just keep things really straight. Use straight lines as much as possible. Back like this. It's going to come over like this. That. This gets rather small, rather skinny. Comes back like this, and then gets a little bit wider again. So I've got the basics of her band that comes around here. And now I am going to place my darks in. So again, I'm going to just be really light as I put these values in. Don't want to go too dark. Using the side of the pencil is going to help me avoid really kind of a sketchy look, or to have like marks that show up in the page because I'm pressing too hard. So I'm using the side of the pencil to make sure I don't go too dark. If you go like this and go like that, right, from the tip, then you'll put little indents in there. The charcoal will get really tight. Oh, we forgot to do this guy right here. Let's do this. This shape right here is important. So this shape right there we want to keep. So this is going to come in like this, and like this, and like this, and then back down again. So that's important. Okay. Shape like that, across like this. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, you don't want to use the edge or the tip of your pencil and push too hard, because it will be really hard to erase, and you'll get sketch marks, little marks where you've pushed in, and then it's really tough to get them out. So, all right, awesome. I'm going to take my tissue paper and I'm just going to smooth this out. It already looks really nice, and I'm just going to come in and smooth it out. And I could go darker if I wanted to, but for right now, just keep it nice and light and spread this area around. Use little circles if I need to. We'll end up going lots darker in areas, but this gives us a good idea of where our darks are and where our lights are. Just separated those two areas. So smooth this out, smooth that out, smooth that out. Good. Good there. I can come back and refine areas if I need to, but I'm going to start out just like that. Good. There we go. Boom. Awesome. Okay. All right, well, we're going to stop there and go to a new video. But we've started out with our basic setup of the drawing of lights and darks.